All right, for y'all who are watching this from the recording, if it looks like you missed some, you did. That was my fault. All right, God even made bears, whoops, and sheep, and monkeys too. Can y'all see the monkey?
Yes.
Good. Smoking a cigarette. And cats. Boom, got him. Even evil cats. And evil penguins. Now, day 7. Oops. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed. And on the 7th day, God rested. I wish I knew it. Oh, there it goes. I hope that wasn't on a loop. And on the 7th day, God rested from all his work, and God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Now, these engravings were done in the 1700s by, well, I forget the man's name. I don't like this one because he's made God look like an old man. And secondly, it looks like God is just sort of sitting around. Well, the 7th day of rest is like someone who builds a house, and then on the 7th day, he goes in and starts living in it. And in a certain sense, God is now very involved with planet Earth, even though it has fallen and evil is here. Okay. Now, in terms of creation versus geological time, the sequence of the days of creation describes very closely the sequence of how life came about on Earth as proposed by science. Now, like I said before, I'm not in the least bit threatened by science. If science discovers truth, it's going to fit in with God's truth. Okay, how about the dinosaurs? So, well, when did they roam? Well, the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. Now, like I said a moment ago, I personally believe that the quote days of creation stand for vast epochs of time. Now, if that's not your faith position, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to criticize or persuade. I'm just telling you where I'm at. If these days can represent these vast periods of time, then the dinosaurs came in bird-like form at the end of day 5. Then they came into the other form in day 6 of, the Tyrannosaurus Rex and all that jazz, and then went extinct as in quote day 6, then other animals took their place. All right, is it okay if I move on?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, now, there are a lot of things at stake here, though. If creation is true, meaning if there is a God who created, then that means we have a creator. It's not just our mom and our dad and our human ancestry.
Can you go back?
Well, I don't want to at this time, sweetheart. Which one did you have a question about?
The last sentence on the slide that we were at.
Okay, I can do that.
Vast.
Vast. Did you catch that?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so first of all, if creation is true, that means obviously we have a creator, which means we have meaning. Now think about that. Anything you have created, whether it was with Play-Doh and you made this little cup to give to your mom, it had meaning in your mind. Your mom looked at it and probably thought, well, that's the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. But because she knew you gave it to her, then it meant something. If we have a creator, we have meaning, and we also have a purpose. Somewhere I've got this little wooden thing that my daughter made when she was probably in first grade that says like number one dad on it. And it's got these 3 holes in the top. And it's a pencil holder. And that was the purpose of it. Now, this is the one that most of us don't like, is that if we have been created with meaning and a purpose, then our job is to fulfill that purpose. And God does and will hold people accountable for his purposes. And one of Jesus's statements is that to one who has been given much, much will be expected. For instance, and I've asked my brother if I can talk about Luke. Luke is my nephew. He's 30 years old now. But Luke was born with terrible cerebral palsy. I don't know if y'all know what that's like, but it's he can't, he just sits in a chair. He can't talk. He can't get out of the chair by himself. He can't eat. He can't go to the bathroom by himself. But he's smart, and with his face, he can make noises and expressions. Now, believe you me, God is not holding Luke accountable for the things he'll hold me accountable for, because Luke is so limited. Nevertheless, Luke has been given some responsibilities that, like his attitude, and he has a wonderful attitude. So we are accountable if we have a creator. We also have a destiny. Now, the little wooden pencil holder my daughter made, the destiny for that is that it's up on one of the shelves in my house. That's just where it sits. It doesn't even hold pencils. It just reminds me of my daughter's love. Okay. Have I gone too fast? All right. The other point of view is what I call atheistic evolution. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a number of Christians who
Wait, what was the last word on the last
Destiny.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Now, there are any number of Christian people who believe God created it, but they believe God used scientific evolution to make it all fall out. And, again, I'm not going to criticize that. That's just not my point of view. But atheistic evolution means you, believe there is no God and that whatever exists is just sort of random occurrence. Well, if that is true, then these things follow. It means that you and I are on our own. No one has our back except perhaps family and friends. And even then, you can't be guaranteed it. There's a blues song. Let's see, how does this thing go? The guy sings, "No one loves me but my mama, and she could be jiving too." So, we rely on family and friends, but even then, they're going to let us down. I've let people down. Don't want to, but I have and do. All right, secondly, if atheistic evolution is true, then we are just particles of calcium, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus that somehow walk and talk. And that whatever sense you have of your inside person is just chemical reactions. At least that's what these folks would say. And I've talked with some. I've had a number of mostly good conversations with atheists. So if their point of view is true, there's no meaning to our lives. I mean, it'd be no more meaning to your life and my life than to a snail on the ground. And when we're dead, we're dead. It's like a candle being blown out. You're done. Nothing left. No more. All right. Do I need to go back, or everybody here? Now, I am giving you some of my own personal opinions. I think it's necessary because some of these things, there are a variety of opinions. I personally believe Adam and Eve were anatomically modern, like this man and woman. I don't believe that Adam looked like a caveman. Now, in science, you'll hear about these early bipedal primates. Bipedal means that walk on 2 feet. Australopithecus, in fact, I'll go ahead and click all these out. Homo habilis, Homo rudolfensis, Homo erectus, Homo neanderthalensis, and Homo sapiens. I'll give you a minute to get those numbers down. Now, people that do not want to believe in God are very happy to believe that mankind is simply a natural evolutionary development from earlier human-like forms. Primates, like an orangutan is a primate, a gorilla is a primate, chimpanzees are primates. But what was unique to these, according to their skeletons, is that they could walk on 2 feet. Well, guys, what I did not know until a couple years ago when I went to visit my son in Chicago, and I went to one of the zoos and I got outside the primate exhibit, and it has a big sign and it says, all primates can walk on 2 feet. Now, not all of them want to walk on 2 feet for a real long period of time, but I did not know that all of them can. So to me, this is not all that persuasive. Now, perhaps you heard about Lucy. She was about as tall as a yardstick. And I personally believe that if you'd seen her walking around, you'd have thought it's a critter escaped from the zoo. I'm going to skip this part. It's just a little bit too wordy. Now, sometimes you'll hear it said, well, we share 99% of our DNA with the bonobo or the chimpanzee and the gorilla and the orangutan. Well, at first that might seem, well, gosh, that must mean we're a developed form of them. Well, 36% of our DNA is the same with fruit flies. 90% of our DNA is identical with a mouse and a rat. Now, I don't hear anybody thinking we came from rats. I know some people that are, well, never mind. So, these are my conclusions. They don't have to be yours, but as your teacher, I feel I owe it to you to give you at least my thinking. First of all, I don't think it's a coincidence that the days of creation fit nicely with geological time. Like I said earlier, if science discovers truth, it's going to match God's truth eventually. I'm not saying that there aren't things that we're puzzled over still. Second conclusion of mine is that the fact that we've got shared DNA with other creatures simply means God is a smart builder. He uses similar materials to build his creatures. A third conclusion I have is that bipedal primates are just that. They are primates that can walk on 2 feet. I do not believe that these are, quote, early humans. And that's me. 4, I do believe what some people call microevolution happens within species through natural selection and that kind of stuff. I don't have a problem with like say cows having over hundreds of years, cows developing somehow as cows. What I don't believe though is macroevolution, where the whale morphed into the porpoise, which morphed into the manatee, which morphed into the walrus, which morphed into the hippopotamus, and so on. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe in what a lot of folks call special creation, that God created raccoons and he created dogs and he created mosquitoes, that one didn't sort of blend into the other. All right, everybody got that? Can I move on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, let's go back to so I can see your faces. All righty. So when you get those done, submit them to me. It'll be complete, incomplete. Again, make sure you get all these completed things done, because by the end of the quarter, it's going to be a pretty big part of your grade, even though right now it doesn't show up in PowerSchool. The other thing I've asked you to do today is to do another one of the Bible Project videos. I hope y'all are liking them, because I do. I've been impressed with them. Probably the best thing I've ever seen along those lines. And I've looked at a lot of stuff over the years. All right, again, y'all need to stay tuned in here until the class is over, and I'll be around. But is there anything I can help you with?
You're still
It looks like someone's got a question. Hold on, I'm not used to looking at these chats. All right. Okay, it says, didn't HIV originate from monkeys? I don't know.
Mr. Hilborn,
Yes.
you're still recording.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Let's stop it. All right.